The IDF dropped leaflets over southwest Deir al-Balah, urging displaced Palestinians, many living in tents, to evacuate immediately and move south to al-Mawasi. Authorities warned of an imminent ground offensive targeting Hamas infrastructure. This area had been relatively untouched until now and is home to thousands of displaced people and humanitarian organizations. Military push and tank incursion. On July 21st, Israeli tanks entered districts of Deir al-Balah for the first time. The operation included shelling homes and mosques, with medics reporting at least 3 Palestinians killed and several wounded. The IDF claims the operation is based on intelligence suggesting Hamas may be holding hostages in the area. Humanitarian impact. The evacuation order intensified displacement. UN data indicates approximately 87% of Gaza is already under evacuation or restricted zones, forcing people into roughly 12% of the territory. Aid access is collapsing. UN and Gaza health officials warn of mounting starvation, with dozens reportedly killed at aid queues in recent days. Hospitals are critically low on fuel, food, and medication, with patients surviving on minimal rations. Political and diplomatic implications. Families of hostages are alarmed, fearing the offensive endangers the estimated 2050 hostages believed to still be alive in the area. The offensive also complicates ongoing indirect ceasefire and hostage negotiations in Doha, which have so far yielded no breakthrough. The IDF's evacuation order and subsequent ground operation in Deir al-Balah mark a significant escalation. With civilians, aid groups, and hostages in the area, the offensive risks deepening the humanitarian crisis and further destabilizing diplomatic efforts. Canada clinches first ever Hopman Cup title in historic final against Italy. Canada made history by winning its maiden Hopman Cup title, with Bianca Andreescu and Felix Auger-Aliassime teaming up to defeat Italy's Lucia Bronzetti and Flavio Cobolli in the final held in Bari on Sunday. Both countries were contesting their first Hopman Cup final, and it was Canada who took the early advantage. Andreescu, a former U.S. Open champion now ranked 185 in the world, displayed her class by defeating Bronzetti, ranked over 100 spots higher, 6-2, 6-3 in the opening singles match. Italy responded through Cobolli, who edged out Auger-Aliassime in a tightly contested 3-set battle. After splitting their previous 2 encounters in 2024, the match lived up to expectations. Auger-Aliassime claimed the first set in a tense 9-7 tiebreak, but Cobolli, a recent Wimbledon quarterfinalist, bounced back. The cancellation of Valery Gergiev's concert in Italy marks a significant cultural and political statement by both the public and European institutions amid ongoing condemnation of Russia's war in Ukraine. Key highlights. Gergiev's ties to Putin. Valery Gergiev, one of Russia's most prominent conductors, is a known supporter and personal friend of President Vladimir Putin. His scheduled performance at the Regia di Caserta music festival would have been his first in Europe since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Public outcry. Over 16,000 people, including Nobel laureates, international politicians, and activists, signed a petition urging festival organizers and EU leaders to cancel the concert. Navalny's widow speaks out. Yulia Navalnaya, widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, called the concert a gift to the dictator, labeling Gergiev as a promoter of Putin's criminal policies. Political fallout in Italy. The event had been supported by Vincenzo De Luca, president of the Campania region, but faced criticism from Italy's culture minister, who drew a distinction between artistic freedom and political propaganda. Cultural repercussions. Gergiev has been previously dropped by major institutions, including Munich Philharmonic and La Scala, for refusing to denounce Putin. His public support of controversial actions like the annexation of Crimea and performances in war-torn areas like Palmyra, Syria, have made him a lightning rod in the culture versus politics debate. Why this matters. This incident highlights the ongoing tension between cultural diplomacy and political accountability. Even in the arts, figures closely aligned with oppressive regimes are increasingly being held to account, not only by institutions, but by public opinion. It also underscores how Europe is continuing to isolate Russian cultural figures, who are perceived as mouthpieces or symbols of Kremlin policy.